Only on Fox, a 12-year-old Angleton girl desperate for her help. She's seen several different doctors, all of whom are baffled as to why she sneezes as many as 12,000 times a day.
It affects her life in so many ways. She can't go to school, she can't sleep, she can hardly eat. So as you can imagine, she is ready for relief. Fox 26's Sally McDonald spoke with the girl and her family.
You know, like,
Meet Caitlin Thornley.
I'm 12 years old. I'm in the 7th grade.
Her life is supposed to revolve around family and playing the clarinet, not be interrupted by this. Caitlin sneezes up to 20 times a minute or 12,000 times a day.
You must be exhausted.
You have no idea. I'm constantly in pain with, you know, my abdomen, and my legs are hurting because I've been weak and I can barely eat.
She can't go to school either.
You've tried going. What happens when you do go to school?
Some kid ends up making fun of me or something like that, and it just gets.
Her parents say it started more than 3 weeks ago.
I just started like in little spurts. Like I just, you know, start sneezing.
Caitlin had just left a clarinet lesson.
I thought it was like, oh, I'm allergic to something, or I didn't wash out my mouthpiece the right way.
It never went away.
Wow.
So day 22 now and hasn't gotten any better.
It's hard to watch. Yeah, sorry.
It's just not fun at all.
Listening to the Beatles helps Caitlin relax. The only time she doesn't sneeze is when she falls asleep after taking Benadryl.
Sometimes I wish that I could leave my body for a little while so that way I can just watch myself sleep and be at peace. Because even in my dreams I sneeze.
Caitlin's doctors and her parents are absolutely stumped. Our hearts just go out to her because this is so exhausting. We are hoping that our viewers, our Fox 26 viewers, have some answers for Caitlin.
We'd love for this to lead to something. I mean, it's just so rare and difficult.
They've been to 6 doctors. Viruses and allergies have been ruled out. No medication is working. They believe it could be a stress-related reaction.
Anything you talk to her about that irritates her even slightly, you can just see it just spike and just continuous sneezing. You know, it's really easy to trigger.
I don't care what they do. I just want it to stop. It's been going on for way too.
Caitlin says she's trying to stay positive and keep up her sense of humor. She hopes to have a cure soon and be able to look back with a smile and say,
You know, I was on TV once for sneezing.
And anytime anybody says, I just can't stop sneezing, then you've got an argument for that every single time.
In Angleton, I'm Sally McDonald, Fox 26 News.
Could you imagine? Well, after Fox 26 reached out to Texas Children's Hospital, doctors agreed to see her immediately.
Dr. Merid Parnas is a neurologist who evaluated her last Friday. He's here to talk about what he thinks this could be, a course of treatment as well. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, as we heard, they've been to doctor after doctor. They had no answers, and you were thinking it has nothing to do with allergies at all, but might be something else. Tell us what your feeling is.
So one of the things it could be, and that it looks quite a bit like, are tics. And tics are brief, repetitive, stereotyped movements and vocalizations, and that sort of, those parts of her presentation kind of fit. And she also describes kind of a funny feeling in her nose before she makes these sneezing sounds and movements that then get better. And that's very typical for tics as well.
How extreme or unusual is this particular manifestation versus a normal, I guess, tic that someone might have?
So tics can be pretty varied. Commonly they start in the head and neck, so things like blinking, sniffing, facial grimacing, movements of the neck, shoulder jerks, things like that. but we see all kinds of different ticks like air swallowing and belching, for example. Things can be unusual, so this isn't out of the ordinary.
Well, certainly we don't want to get into her patient information. We'll consider that private. But for a typical tick, how do you go about treating something like that? Is there a way to make it stop?
So most often ticks can be treated with medications, and typically we have very good results. There are a number of medications that we use that are most often safe and well tolerated, and we can get kids to have a much better quality of life.
If you have some sort of tick, whether it is this extreme, you definitely want to see a doctor. If it's less extreme, at what point do you say, maybe this is something I need to have looked at?
I think, so the thing about ticks is we only need to treat them when they're bothersome.
Okay.
So things we ask patients about most often are, do they cause any pain? You could imagine if you're having repetitive jerks of some part of your body that happen all day long, that can cause a lot of pain, can interrupt your tasks, can interrupt being able to focus on school or your job, and can cause a lot of social embarrassment. Sometimes small kids are being teased, can interrupt classroom activities and things like that. So typically if a child comes in and they say, yeah, I have these blinks, for example, but they don't ever get in my way, well then we won't chase after them with medicines. So we really count on the kids to tell us and to tell the parents when we need to help them make them better.
And when you do decide to make them better with medication, will it ever go away? Can that cure it, or is this something that once it starts, you will have it for life?
So there's no cure. Most often ticks start in early school age when people are around 4, 5, 6 years old. And then for a lot of kids, it gets worse between 10 and 12 on average, although every case is different. And then most often through high school to approaching age 20, it tends to get better. So for some people, it can go sometimes all the way away or most of the way away. Some people still have ticks into adulthood, and very rarely can get worse actually in adulthood.
Well, we are hopeful on her behalf that you've got the tools in your toolbox to do something here.
Thanks very much.
Dr. Meredith Parnas, best of luck here. Thank you.
Thanks for making a difference. Good to see you.